afternoon. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Dice Tower Board Game Breakfast. I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Wendy Yee.
Tom's already ruined it. I'm Chris, for what it's worth.
I just noticed that one of the mics wasn't on, that's all.
Oh, that's probably me.
All right.
Testing.
Wendy's already ruined it.
Now I'm
And I'm
Wendy.
Jeff.
There we go. Fixed it. You
Hey.
saved it,
Oh, it was
Jeff.
Wendy. Sorry. Hey, Jeff's here from Tabletop Toolbox. Sometimes our contributors will pop off the screen and into the video. That will happen almost never. But Jeff came down for a Dice Tower retreat.
That's right.
It's a magical morning.
Dice Tower retreat. I'm so excited about it.
Me too.
But it actually doesn't start till tomorrow.
But we're boxing up the library today.
And we're celebrating my birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Finally.
Yes.
It got delayed.
Happy 61st.
Hey, you know what? My brother just posted a picture of himself on Facebook, and he looks older than I do, and he's 4 years younger, and I'm very pleased about the whole situation.
That's the best.
Hey.
That is amazing.
That's what they say. The camera takes away 10 years, right?
Chris made it awkward again. Okay, folks, welcome to Board Game Breakfast. We're glad you're here. This is this is the only live show this week.
Yes.
It is the only live show this week. We have lots of videos that are going up over the course of this week, but we will be at Dice Tower Retreat. However, this one video has a contest in it, and that contest is for a game we just played on Friday called The Fox Experiment. The Fox Experiment. I always get confused when we look at the reverse mirror thing.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Stage right.
Anyway, The Fox Experiment is a game about Russians breeding the cutest, most friendly foxes you can find, and you need to email us, enter this contest, and this is for folks in the U.S., at contest@dicetower.com. In the subject line, put the word experiment, and then answer the question, what are the two player colors offered in the expansion? I cannot spoil this because I do not know the answer. I will say this. It is a fantastic game. Like, I want to play it again. That's how much fun I had it. Enjoyed it.
Well, let's not pack up the library. We'll just play Fox Experiment today.
Fox Experiment's
Done.
going in the library temporarily, which is something I very rarely do. So, yeah, the library's being packed not as we speak, but around we speak.
Around us as we speak?
You told us to stop, so we stopped.
Jeff, where are you from?
I'm from
Let's talk
Richmond.
about it. Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia, yep.
I always clarify that because just because someone says a city does not mean it's from the state. I think it's from.
There's a
That's
handful of
true.
Richmonds out there,
There's
too,
a Hollywood, Nevada.
There's a Hollywood, Florida.
You're right.
There's a Paris, Texas.
No one cares. No one cares, Mike.
There's a Peru, Indiana, spelled Peru, but you ask the locals, it's pronounced Peru.
Really?
Yep, absolutely.
Well, to be fair, the city right above us is Naranja.
Yeah, that threw me off. Especially how Spanish-speaking the population is out here. When I heard
Wait.
someone say Naranja, I was like, no, I think you're wrong.
I think what happened is they probably called it Naranja, and then all the old people around here were like, no, Naranja. And that's the way it is. Anyway, folks, so there's a lot of stuff going on this week. And you might be jealous of coming to the Dice Tower Retreat, as you should be, but
It's awesome.
spilt milk. You can't rechange things in the past, but you can sign up for a thing that's the same thing but on a boat, and that's Dice Tower Cruise. DicetowerCruise.com and Dice Tower West, which will also be exciting. We were just talking about Nevada. That's going to be great.
It's not in Hollywood, Nevada.
It
It's
is.
in
Nobody wants
Las
to go
Vegas.
there.
Speaking of Las Vegas, I'll be there in 4 weeks, I think, for the World Series of Board Games. And we're coming to Essen, so we'll have a booth there, and we'll have more information about that in a couple weeks. And then 2 weeks from today is the Autumn Spectacular. It's going to be spooky. There's going to be spooky games being played and non-spooky games being played. Top 10 list. Another game and talk.
Yes.
And I'm not telling you what the game and talk's about yet, but it's something that we've been talking about, and I don't think I've seen anyone do it yet. This game and talk.
I don't think so.
It might have been done, but
Sure.
it's
But
the first time we've done it.
Is it spooky, Tom?
I think it's spooky.
Oh, it's
It's
spooky.
spooky.
Yeah.
It's horrifying. It's not horrified.
You don't know what we're talking about.
I do not.
We'll tell you while everyone else watches these contributors.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I want to talk to you about micro expansions. Sometimes they are brilliant, and sometimes I think, actually in hindsight, maybe they're a little bit too much. These are a load of the expansion boxes. I think there's actually another one somewhere. I seem to have only got 6 of the 7 expansion boxes here, and that just goes to show you how many extra expansions you can get for Railroad Inc. or Railroad Inc. Challenge. I absolutely love that series. I think it's such an easy game to teach because it's visually pleasing. You can kind of obviously know you need to connect your rails to rails, your roads to roads, and all that sort of stuff. And some of these expansions I really do actually quite enjoy. There's one dice that allows you to append basically a bit of a route onto somewhere else. There's a portal that links something from one side of your map up to the other, and they're really cool. And then there's others which, you know what, they're kind of fun when you play them, but how many times are you getting the game to the table to warrant this many extra dice? There's 4 dice in each of these, and there's more dice in each of the games. Like, I really do enjoy the games. I've enjoyed playing through most of these expansions. There's a couple, they'll probably just go. There's a couple which I'll hold on to for a bit, and there's some that I'll probably keep for a bit longer. But I don't need this many extra mini boxes to then lose, as I've clearly already lost one. What do you think about micro expansions? In some cases, definitely dropped one there. Some cases they're really good. Other cases, they just maybe suck a little bit of the enjoyment out of the base game. Let me know, and until next time, enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
All right, 20 years ago, we're talking about a game that came out 20 years ago, and that is 10 Days in Europe. Who here has played it? Oh, yeah, me. Sorry, crickets.
I was like, I hope somebody at the table.
Has anyone played any of the 10 game series?
No, I want
No.
to. I mean, the way that you've always described them sounds very appealing.
Yeah, they're very, very light. All of them, you randomly draw a handful of cards in front of you. You have like these trays, and you put the cards into trays. They're like tiles, and you need to be able to, from those tiles, like it's possible. I've seen it happen once in my life where you can draw them and it's perfectly done, but you need to be able to go, all right, I'm going from Germany to Italy, and then taking a boat to Turkey, and then you just need to be able to draw a path from all your tiles. Since you can't, probably, then on your turn, you draw a tile. You can draw from face down or from a couple face up ones. Replace a tile, and you just keep doing that until someone wins. That's the whole game.
It's Racco with a map.
It is very
It's
similar to
Mappo.
Racco. I think it's more fun than Racco because the geography part of it is more interesting to me.
Well, you have
than
more
just put-
flexibility. You can't, I need a 57.
I'm never going to see that 57.
Right.
Right, I mean, you could set it up so you're like, I need a green airplane, because the countries are in different colors, so you can fly from one green to another green. But yes, there have been times where I go, this is not happening, and you rechange it. But it's very light, but it's very fun. And they just reprinted it in China. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. I got a copy of it. That's the one that's in our library.
Like a Chinese company reprinted it, or
Yes.
there's an edition called 10 Days in Europe in China.
No. No
Worth
one.
asking.
No one thought that.
I thought that, Tom.
Anywho, so they came out with 10 days in the U.S., then 10 days in Europe, then Africa, then Asia, and then they did one more. I don't remember what the other one was.
Antarctica.
South America, I think.
The moon.
Is Hollywood, Florida in the 10 Days in America?
It's states.
Oh, okay. Well,
So,
that takes care
so
of that.
Florida's in there,
So
yes.
Florida in there.
So actually,
So yes,
Yeah.
all of Florida.
Right. That's what I'm hearing.
Once, Laura and I played 50 days around the world. And that's where we mixed all the tiles up. And then you had 4 trays, and it works because the colors are the same. So I could say I'm flying Florida's green and Germany's green, so I can fly from Florida to Germany.
Whoa.
It was like a 2-hour game.
That's
But we
what I
did
want.
it.
That's what I want my Racco experience.
But
to
was
be.
it fun?
It was fun, but it was fun as a 2-player thing. It's kind of like Laura and I, before we would play Carcassonne with all the expansions. I would not do it with anything else but a 2-player at night. What do you care?
Yeah.
Sure. It's almost like doing a jigsaw puzzle at that point. It's conversational hangout play, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, this one is Alan Moon and Aaron Weisblum. They do not particularly get along these days, so you won't see that combo again. But in fact, I haven't seen anything from Aaron Weisblum in a while, design-wise. But it's worth checking out. So that's 10 Days in Europe.
Hey everyone, how you doing? I am Cloudbacker, and today I'm talking about a game that I've only played on Board Game Arena. It's a game that is fast shooting up my rankings though, and a game that I absolutely adore playing, and that game is Carnegie. So Carnegie is, it's very dry, it's very beige, everything's beige, and it is very much an economic game, so you're trying to score points. You can score points in-game or at the end of the game as well, and what points you score are based on whether you've moved your workers around and whether you've put buildings on a map. There's 4 different types of actions, and each player takes it in turn to choose one, and then you do that for the round, and then it's the next person chooses. So you don't necessarily know what it is that you're going to be doing on your turn. But maybe it will be a construction action, so you can build a building on the main board, on the main map. Trouble is, if you've not got a worker on the construction, then you can't do it. If you don't have the resources, you can't do it. So you've got to make sure that you've already done the other stuff to make sure you've got the resources to be able to build. You've got to have made sure that you've played human resources to get your worker over there and then paid them, because even if you move them, if you haven't paid them, they're not going to activate. And so basically on your turn, you want all of the actions, but you get one, and you want to do everything with it when you get it. So, and there's all these different tracks, you know, you're moving around these boards, you're getting, depending on where you build, you might be getting transport bonuses, your R&D allows you to build certain types of buildings. Maybe you need more departments to be able to play, but then sometimes you guarantee you've got your meeples, you've got your construction department, but you haven't had the chance to move a meeple on there, and then you've missed the go. You've not been able to activate it. Oh, it's brilliant. I love it, and I really, really want to get this into my collection. So highly recommended. That's Carnegie. And Clara, bye.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP, and I tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. Today, we're going to look at Jumanji. So here's Jumanji, the board game. On your turn, you're going to roll the dice, you're going to move that number of space. If you get a rhino, you can simply put this in front of somebody, and you can block their path. They have to roll an even on their turn in order to go past it. There is a place that's weight 5 or 8. If somebody were to land on that, the other players will get to roll the dice. If they roll anything but a 5 or 8, the player will move backwards, activating any space to land on. If they roll 5 or 8, then the hurt is over. If you land on a blank space or one of these danger zones, you'll take one of these cards and put it in a handy-dandy decoder, and it will tell you what everyone will try to roll. You have a timer to roll, and it has an item. In this case, we're trying to get rafts. There is a wild card on here. If everybody is successful in getting the raft, then the players will... all the other players will move forward. If they fail, whoever's turn it is will move backwards. If this has failed, it will come over here on the danger track. If this fills up with all danger, all players lose. If somebody's able to make it to the center of the board, they will win the game. So this is the original Jumanji game. In this game, you're kind of moving down your tracks, and wild things are happening from the event deck. So it's kind of like a cooperative nature going on. You're trying to get down your line as quickly as possible, but you have all these events occurring over here. The game does the best that it can. So it's based on the actual board game from the movie, from the first movie with Robin Williams. And you also have the rhinoceros coming out and stuff. But, you know, of course, you're not going to have them bursting through your room. So you have to use cards for that. You do have a decoder that you look at. The kids love that, by the way. And it gives you a picture and a framework for what's going on. It's about the best that they could do based on the material given from the movie, as they can't have monkeys just flying around your house. Now, it's not a very strong game. It's a roll and move, and moving up these spots, and random things are happening. So the game isn't very good, but it does have a Jumanji feel to it. It does have the aspects of the animals coming in and your plans being messed up, and that rhinoceros blocking your path. So there's a few things going on here that will bring the IP in. But this one is when I would temper your expectations and say this is probably a gift to give somebody who really likes Jumanji the movie, and like, haha, it's a board game based on a board game movie. And I think that it kind of stops there. The game itself, it's okay.
Nothing's coming out. No, that's not nothing. There is stuff coming from the Dice Tower this week. There's nothing coming live, but
we are going to be doing, Wendy and I are doing our top 10 anticipated games that are going to come out from International Spieltag.
Essen.
Okay, whatever, Spieltag.
showing off.
Yeah.
Hey, fancy.
Yeah, picked up on that.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, you get corrected enough times on the internet, and you will completely change everything about yourself to make sure that nobody makes fun of you.
Did you actually get corrected on the internet?
Anyway, yeah, our top 10 anticipated games. We're going to premiere that so that if you enjoy hanging out in the live chat on YouTube, that'll be Thursday and you'll see the notifications at 1 or 2 o'clock.
2 or 3, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm starting a series on my favorite games from my favorite designers. I'd love to tell you what designers I've done, but I recorded it almost a month ago now. Martin Wallace was one. Antoine Bauza was one.
I didn't do any of them, but
Phil Walker Harding was one.
Lacerda?
No. Who's he? She. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so that I'll be doing more of those, but I think 7 of them are going up over the next week, and then a few other things are going up.
Mike is starting a series where he's going to look at the regrets of Kickstarter.
Oh, it's basically just weeping for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
misses and surprises.
Yeah, and the misses are quite some misses, Mike. Quite the misses.
Anyway, all that stuff's coming back. We will not be doing breakfast next Monday. We will be doing breakfast next Tuesday, just because of us coming back from the retreat and everything. There will be a few videos next Monday, but not breakfast.
There's also a video on Friday.
Brag about it, son.
There's a video, yeah, Friday, The Age of Atlantis. I put a review up.
This better be good. It's our last chance.
I'm rolling my dice on it.
It's their
I'm betting
last
the
chance as a
farm.
company.
Their last chance, not your last
Hey,
chance.
well,
To clarify.
look, I'm sitting close enough. It could be my last. I don't know. We'll find out.
No, I didn't say that.
It's got dark quick.
Press the buttons here and you
That's
fall
right.
into
That's
the
right.
fire.
This is Dr. Evil right
Yeah.
off the back
Yeah.
of the table.
Prepare the fire!
But I've got some bonus content on the end of that too. I don't know if Roy hammed that up on the name, but I got some bonus content at the end of that. So you might wanna
Bonus
check
content?
that
Bonus
out.
content. All right.
I don't know what that means.
That's what we're coming out with this week.
Hello, this is Oliver, and recently I went to Grand Con in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And definitely the funnest game I played at Grand Con is Foundations of Rome. And I don't have the game, but I'll talk about it anyway, but maybe I'll get it for Christmas because it's so darn expensive. Foundations of Rome is a tiling game where you are building the city of Rome. What I like about Foundations of Rome is that the pieces are amazing. They look like little Roman buildings, and they just, it may be worth the $200 if you're just looking at the pieces alone. The pieces are just the most outstanding part of the game, and it's like people come up around you, and they're like at Grand Con, people would mess around with the pieces, and like this is really cool. So, yeah, that was cool. And another thing I like is how everything kind of works together. So first you're trying to get money from Caesar to afford plots of land, then build these Roman buildings on those plots of land, and then some of those buildings allow you to get more money so that you can afford more plots of land, so that you can build more buildings on those plots of land. So it all fits together in this one cycle, kind of like a cause and effect thing. Another thing I like is it's the table presentation is insane for how easy the game is. It's a huge game. It's boom. But you pull it out and it's one of the easiest games. It's insane. And that whole cycle thing I talked about, it's super easy and it sounds as easy as it is. It is awesome. Well, let me know in the comments below if this game is just the right price or a little bit too overpriced. Have a great breakfast. Bye.
So what do you do?
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk about this briefly because I get asked that a lot. I mean, that's just what people ask, right? I say, hey, what's your name? You talk about the weather, because that's the first thing you talk to people about when you meet them, usually. Oh, it's really hot here in Florida in September. You don't ever talk about the weather?
No, I refuse.
Really?
I pretty much try not to talk about the weather.
Oh, everyone tries not to, but it happens, so I don't want to hear this.
No, see, growing up in Las Vegas where it was just always hot, I felt like there was nothing to talk about. Now there's weather to talk about.
Is it miserable outside? Uh-huh. Good to meet you.
It rains.
Okay, so when you talk about whatever, but then invariably people, when you're meeting somebody, you're like, where are you from? And then what do you do?
It's very comic, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
And then, so what do I say when people ask me that? So I actually change my answer from person to person because I get bored answering. Actually, if they're 25 and under, I say I'm a YouTuber. Straight up, because
And they
that's
think
the way
you're
to win
super
their
cool.
heart. Then they're like,
Yeah.
what? That's my dream job. and for a good majority of them, it is their dream job to be a YouTuber. For adults, I usually say I'm a reviewer, but I review board games instead of movies. And then, because that's the only one. That's the only I think people get. There's professional movie reviewers.
And food. There's restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but people don't think that, right? They think the
Yeah.
movie reviewers.
I see.
There's restaurant, there's book, there's all kinds of professional
Yeah.
reviewers.
Well, I think the other type of reviewer that most people understand is usually like, I'm a product reviewer. You know, like some people do phones and gadgets.
Because I hear
and
you
stuff.
say that often. That
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I do product reviews.
Yeah, but
online.
the products I do reviews of are board games.
And then inevitably the people go, "That's amazing," and I'm instantly ready going, "I do not play games all the time." I say that every time, like in seconds. And then what's the next question they ask?
What's
How long have you been doing
What is a
it?
game that I should pick up for
Stable?
my cousin that you don't know
Well, no,
anything about?
It's like Monopoly.
What's your favorite game?
Yeah, well, those are the two questions.
Yeah.
Either like Monopoly, I don't get that much anymore, but it's always like, "Oh, what's the best game then?" That's almost always the question I get, and I'll be like, "What do you like?" You know, because I'm not telling you whatever my current favorite game is, like Ark Nova. I'm not saying, "Oh, you should go buy Ark Nova." All right, got it. What's it about? Zoo. That sounds fun.
Here's the next 5
You're
hours.
gonna hate
The
it.
next 5 hours of your life right here. I'm laying it out for you.
So what do you say, Wendy?
What do I say? So I often, I just say like I work for a YouTube channel. We do like reviews and unboxings, like that kind of stuff. And I often say like, it's been around a long time. Because I think that there's that perception of, oh, you moved here for a YouTube channel? Like, I see you're going to be leaving soon. Like, it's often people at church or something like that they're like, are you going to be around a
Thanks for
while? Or are
visiting.
you gone? And so I'm like, oh yeah, our boss has been doing this for like 20 years. And so I feel like
Sure,
I
the
have to
channel's
emphasize
only
that.
been around for 14.
Only.
That's true. In YouTube
YouTube
years,
channel,
that's pretty
that's-
old.
yeah.
Yeah,
But the channel's only been monetarily stable for, how old's my son? 8 years.
Okay.
Which is also
Long for a
a
YouTube
long
channel.
time.
That is a long time. That is a long time.
Yeah.
This
I
is
just-
the Welcome to the Dice Tower bragging hour.
And you see, I told folks, I was like, yeah, I'm heading down to Florida this week. Oh, why? I was like, wow, I'm going to go down and like...
Vacation, and the rest of it's none of your business.
Florida?
Yeah,
Woo!
yeah. They're like, oh, they're going to the beach. I'm like, not exactly. You see, there's going to be this big hotel. No, hang on, stick with me. It's going to be really cool. And then I said, yeah, I'm going to go down and, I'm going to be on the Dice Tower. And of course, the Who. And I'm like, well, they're a company in Florida, and I know this is going to sound weird, but they review board games on YouTube. Like, that's what they do, and they've got hundreds of thousands of followers. And I was trying to explain it to some neighbors just over the weekend, and it was just like,
I hear a lot of people
okay.
get. It's hard to explain. You go to a convention to play for
Board games.
a week. And
yeah, especially if you're saying, oh yeah, I'm going to Vegas or I'm going to Miami and I'm going to play
Right, or
games.
Orlando. Those are
Yeah.
the three cities. Or a cruise. So what are you doing? Playing board games.
Yeah, I think the cruise people are, you can more easily hide and be like, yeah, I'm so looking forward to the buffet. I'm so looking forward to, you know what I mean? Like, you can
I
cover up
am so
stuff.
looking forward to the buffet.
Oh, I
okay?
really am. But yeah, like the retreat in particular is funny because you're not coming to do anything else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to go to Miami and I'm going to spend 5 days indoors. You step out to go get like your Uber lunch and it's like, oh, the sun is just, I haven't seen this in days.
Oh, yeah, the humidity outside.
Okay, I don't think that's either days. I go outside every day. Don't listen to Jeff.
I'll just be hermiting.
I also tell people that I'm basically like I do inventory stuff with the library, and we have like over 2,000 games, and then people's eyes usually get big that they're like 2,000. Like,
Oh, yeah.
there's that many that exist.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get that
Do
question.
you make it sound less exciting or more exciting?
I
think I underplay it.
think
I always underplay it.
I underplay it because people have an idea of grandeur, and I tell people I do a lot of video editing, a lot of cutting up stuff. Like that's there's a lot of behind the scenes type stuff. You have the ability to say that you're a small business owner. There is a lot that goes into the management and running of just everything around.
Sure, and I
here.
do explain that. I'll be like, oh yeah, we play games, but we do a lot of other stuff. It's a good chunk of it. I always downplay it because people, I don't know. It also like, oh, you're almost 50 and you're You're playing board games.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know what? That's so much better than what you're doing. What do you do? Oh, you're a surgeon? Never mind. Thank you for your service.
Do you get a lot of people that ask you to like product place? Whenever you meet people, if they're like, oh, you have a YouTube channel, can you like advertise my cookies or can you advertise my...
Just to be clear, that has not once happened.
Really? I had someone that asked me that. They're like, oh, you started a YouTube channel? Can you like...
Did they say cookies? Because I would have said yes.
It was cookies.
It was cookies, and you didn't tell me.
I know somebody that sells cookies.
There's going to be a conversation later.
Well, always product place cookies. What is wrong?
Yeah, when I believe in something, I'll sell it.
Why are we not eating cookies now?
This whole day is ruined now.
Happy birthday, Vasel.
No cookies
We
for
got you a cake instead of cookies, okay?
Anyway, that's what I think today.
Assalamu alaikum. In Carcassonne, you can always make these weird shaped cities because depending on which style you got, the city can expand into a weird kind of shape which is normally not in your control. So it creates these random shapes all the time. But if you get a variant called the designer city variants available on the BGG file section, then what it is going to give you is that you can print some cards which are gold cards. You will be shuffling these cards. You can print them on paper and then shuffle them if you don't have card stock, but I do prefer cards to print it on card stock, cut it in card shape, and then shuffle 3 of them out and place them as goals for everyone. It will give specific shape of cities that you want to target to make. You can still make cities of other shapes as well, but if you are able to make those designer recommended shapes of cities, then it is going to give you more points. So all the players are trying to get those kind of pieces done and that kind of shape done and not closing their cities with random shapes. So that adds a little bit more variant fun to Carcassonne. So if you're looking for a fun variety for additional points on making those cities, then check out the designer city variants on the BGG file section under Carcassonne. That's it for me. Happy gaming.
For a while, we'll be showing stuff off that you can get at the Board Game Geek Store because we got a big box of all that stuff. And many of our own promos from previous years are on the Board Game Geek Store if you want to get them. So that's at Board Game Geek, and it's at the Geek Store. Is that what it's called?
I think it's the Geek Store.
The Geek Store.
Google the Geek Store.
Right. So let's show you what we have here. First of all, we have 2 1,000-piece puzzles, which I have learned since running our Kickstarter last year.
Is the
You are a baby if you do anything smaller than 1,000. Because I made a 500, people went nuts. They're like, that's too easy. I'm like, that's what I do.
Look, I gotta tell you, I honestly, my fun caps out at about 48 pieces. If they would make nice pictures that weren't like Paw Patrol in 48-piece puzzles, I would do a lot more.
That's not true.
Okay,
I mean,
let's ignore that. Okay.
No, I'm not kidding.
I don't think you
get
would do
so
more, though.
tired of puzzles. But I
It
do
says
like
here in
this
the back,
Feast Rodin cover.
this is a puzzle, not a game.
it is a right-sized box for...
It also says puzzle really big here in the front here. But anyway, that's better than the ones that we
But
have.
if you
on
saw
our Kickstarter.
this
Just have a white
picture online and you were like, oh, I can get Feast for Odin for that much.
I would think it was an expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do like this cover.
Also, Feast for
more
Odin
than
is
the Chamberlain's
puzzly,
one.
so what if it was like a puzzle expansion?
You just open it and it's Tetramino pieces.
I'm not doing these, so anyone who wants them can have them. But maybe, I don't even think my wife would care. All right, now we have Geek Up. These are their boxes. So they come in 8 colors here. These are the Awana colors, blue, red, green, and yellow. And then we got the other colors, orange, black.
Orange, you glad you picked orange? Ooh, are these dividers?
Maybe for yours. This.
There you go.
What are you doing? Okay, so this lid kind of
Jeff
slides off and comes out, and it's to put bits in. It looks like this is more of a storage solution than anything else because I don't think I would want to use these during a game because they're kind of thin.
These have quacks written all
I don't
over them.
understand how these work.
They have what?
They have quacks written all. That is like the Quacks of Quellenberg. The 3 tokens. And it's got little.
Quacks of Quellenberg.
Yeah, it's got little slots here to hold your card.
That
That's my
might be.
guess.
That might be what these are.
I'm totally guessing.
Oh, that's what these are. I knew that.
Oh yeah, because this is the.
These are okay. So
cherry
never
bomb.
mind. These are not. These are 4 Quacks of Quellenberg. Q. Okay. Yes.
Q001.
Right, because there's the pumpkins. You're right. These are the purples and the blacks, of which there's fewer of, and there's only one number of those.
Right.
And then.
And these are for?
But you're right. The card goes right in here. I saw these online. I knew this. I'm glad you're here today. If you did one good thing, it was fixing our thing. So yeah, I'm curious how these would work actually, and I wonder if they hold the Geek Up bits. I'm assuming they would.
No, they definitely wouldn't because.
Are you sure? Because it says Geek Up on the box. They make the pieces. You think that wouldn't work?
No, I've got 3D. Yeah, I got 3D printed trays, and they're smaller than these, and they hold the Geek Up bits. So.
Are you saying they will work or won't work?
They will work.
Oh, sure.
I
Sounded
thought
like you were saying they won't.
No. They definitely should.
Do you shake your head no when you're saying yes?
Probably.
I feel like that's one of the things.
I never do that.
Also, I just noticed that they are. They have that little ramp.
Oh, they have the slidey.
Yeah, so
like
these
I'm curious now. I wonder. We should try
we
these.
try it?
Not next week during the retreat, but when we get
I was
back.
like, I think we literally boxed up that shelf already.
We already boxed it.
Yeah.
All right. Then we have Frantic Mutations. This is a card for King of Tokyo. When you roll at least 3 hands, draw 2 evolution cards, choose one to keep and discard the other. So you need the expansion for this to work.
Frantic.
That's a cool promo, though.
I do like that.
I mean, I know the way that you play King of Tokyo. You're always going for fists.
Right, so that card would work for me.
Yeah.
Also, I love evolutions. Like, I want to be as evolved as possible. Read into that as you will. Patios. This is a board game or a card game. Wendy, I can't read that.
It's about flowers?
No, read the English.
Oh, that's shiny. Take part in Cordova's Patio Festival with the help of gardeners, canes, and awnings, yes. Create the most beautiful patio with its flowers and balconies. Avoid the sun from drying up your precious plant pots. Who will emerge victorious from the patios competition this year?
All right.
I don't know.
I know nothing more about the game.
Don't let your plants dry up. That's not
bad artwork, though. I like that artwork a lot.
Yeah, so on the Geek Store, you can get like components and promos and even entire games.
And clothing, too. We'll show you that in the future. But that's what you can find in the Board Game Geek Store. Let's keep moving.
Hi, everybody. I'm Doug Jr., and you're watching a Fellowship of Meeples. So today we're going to continue my countdown for my top 10 all-time favorite games. Today we are talking about my number 6 favorite game. Mansions of Madness. This is a big game that I've had for a while, and what can I say about it? It's very familiar to a lot of you, but the thing just pours theme, and that's really what I like about it. So Mansions of Madness is an app-driven game. The app is going to drive a narrative while you make decisions on what happens in that story. It's almost like a computerized board game version of a choose-your-own-adventure book. So the app's going to tell you where to put things. You're going to put clue tokens. You're going to put explore tokens. You're going to put your characters. Monsters are going to appear. People are going to be there. It's going to give you choices. You can ask people questions. You can have conversations. You can solve puzzles. You can explore items. You can collect things. You can fight monsters. All this is going to happen based on the decisions you make, and the app will tell you the outcome. But it's always a lot of fun. It's always interesting. And you can replay the scenarios and have different results. Of course, a lot of times we lose the scenarios, so we have to replay it to try to win it. But it's just one of those games that has become a part of our family. And of course, with our spooky season coming up on us here, this is the type of game that we like to pull out and enjoy together around the table. So if you've never tried Mansions of Madness, this is my number 6 favorite game, and I highly recommend that you give it a try. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. I'll see you next time on a Fellowship of Meeples.
All right, that's it for Board Game Breakfast. We are leaving here to go pack up our Dice Tower library so that we can ship it off tomorrow to the retreat. But hey, if you're coming to retreat, I'll see you tomorrow. If you're not coming to retreat, you'll see me tomorrow because I gotta. What are you doing?
I'm trying to figure out what these are.
It's plastic.
We still don't know what these are.
I know what they're made of, Tom.
They came in a Ziploc baggie. They're important.
Hey, Chris said that these are like door prizes for guests who show up, right?
Oh, we have door prizes for guests who show.
Oh
my word! You are so lucky. I got boxes for you.
I am so afraid now.
As you should.
You should be. All right, folks, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
I'm Jeff Knapp.
Have fun opening up stuff. I don't know.
Retreating.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.